Before the sun rises, before the noise of the world begins to compete for your attention, heaven is already listening. Every morning, a divine invitation is sent to your spirit to align, to command, to declare. You see, favor doesn't just happen, it's activated. The difference between an ordinary day and a day of divine breakthroughs is not chance, it's choice. The question is, what are you doing before the world wakes up? Positioning your morning for divine alignment and favor is not about routine, it's about revelation. Every morning carries a voice. Every sunrise is a signal from heaven saying, I am giving you another chance to walk in purpose. But here's the truth. Not everyone listens. Many people rush into the noise of the day without first tuning their spirit to the frequency of God's agenda. They start their mornings reacting to life instead of commanding life. And when you fail to position your morning, you automatically misalign your destiny for that day. When you wake up, heaven waits for your acknowledgement. The Creator of time is watching to see how you begin the gift He just gave you, the gift called today. You see, the morning is sacred. It's not just the beginning of the day, it's the foundation of your direction. If your foundation is weak, your day will wobble. But if your foundation is built in alignment with divine order, then everything else begins to flow with supernatural ease. Favor is not random. Favor is the result of positioning. You don't stumble into favor, you stand in it. That's why your first thoughts in the morning matter. What fills your heart before you face the world determines what the world will return to you. When your spirit is aligned with heaven at dawn, your steps become ordered without confusion, your words carry authority, and your presence becomes a channel of peace and purpose. The secret is not in doing more, it's in beginning right. The moment you open your eyes, you have a choice to invite God into your atmosphere or to allow chaos to dictate your rhythm. The wise understand that divine alignment is not found in haste, it's found in stillness. It's in that quiet moment when you whisper, Lord, direct my steps. It's in that gentle surrender that heaven begins to organize your path. Every morning, your attitude either attracts or repels divine favor. Gratitude opens the gates of heaven. Complaining closes them. So before you touch your phone, before you check the news, before you engage the world, take a moment to engage your Creator. Speak life into your day. Declare that this morning will not be wasted. Prophesy to the sunrise and command your day to serve your purpose. Because when your morning is positioned in alignment with heaven, even the challenges ahead begin to work for your good. The question you must ask yourself is, what are you aligning with each morning? Is it your fear, your schedule, your distractions, or your faith? The way you position your first hour determines how the next 23 unfold. So don't start your morning looking around. Start it looking up. Don't begin your day in reaction. Begin it in revelation. Because when you learn to position your morning for divine alignment, favor doesn't just find you. It follows you. And that's where the second key begins. The first few moments of your morning are not ordinary. They are sacred transactions between heaven and earth. When you rise, the spiritual atmosphere is open, sensitive, and waiting for your voice. The early hours carry divine attention, and what you do within them determines what kind of day you authorize. That's why I call them the first three movements that unlock heaven's attention. You see, God doesn't respond to noise. He responds to order. He doesn't react to panic. He moves in purpose. So when you begin your day with intentional spiritual movements, you literally shift the heavens in your favor. The first movement is recognition. Before you reach for your plans, your phone, or your coffee, pause and acknowledge the source of life. Every breath you take is evidence that heaven still has an assignment for you. When you recognize that your awakening was not random, but orchestrated something powerful happens. You start your day in divine awareness. Awareness brings alignment, and alignment brings authority. The second movement is declaration. What you speak into your morning sets the tone for what your morning will return to you. Words are spiritual seeds, and every day's harvest depends on the seeds you sow at dawn. So speak with authority. Declare peace over confusion. Speak abundance where lack once lived. Command favor to surround you like a shield. When you decree, heaven listens. And when heaven listens, earth must respond. The third movement is surrender, not weakness surrender. It's saying, Father, not my will today, but yours be done. It's handing him your plans before they become problems. When you surrender your day to God, you give him permission to reorder your steps, to rearrange your schedule, to redirect your thoughts, and to realign your heart. Because sometimes divine favor flows not from what we control, but from what we release. These 3 morning movements are not rituals. They are keys. Recognition unlocks awareness. Declaration unlocks authority. Surrender unlocks peace. And when all 3 operate together, they summon divine favor to go before you, to walk beside you, and to follow after you. You become a magnet for grace because heaven recognizes order, and order always attracts blessing. Ask yourself, what movements are you making every morning? Are you reacting to life, or are you activating it? Are you waiting for favor to happen, or are you opening the gates for it to flow? Remember, what you ignore in the morning determines what resists you in the day. If you don't give heaven your first attention, don't be surprised when the world steals your focus. So begin your mornings with purpose. Move with intention. Align your spirit before you align your schedule. Because when you master the 3 movements that unlock heaven's attention, your day will no longer be ordinary. It will become divine. And that's when the next key unfolds. The moment you learn how to command the dawn. Commanding the dawn is not a poetic idea. It is a spiritual law. Every new day waits for an instruction. Every sunrise carries potential, but potential without command remains dormant. When you wake up and say nothing, the day interprets your silence as permission for confusion. But when you rise and speak with authority, heaven hears you, angels respond, and circumstances begin to align with divine order. You see, the dawn was never meant to control you. You were created to command it. The morning is a battlefield of voices. The voice of fear whispers one thing, the voice of doubt another. But the voice of faith, the voice that carries the power of divine decree, silences them all. That's why your first words every morning must carry intention. You don't speak to describe your day. You speak to design it. You don't repeat what you see. You declare what heaven has already said about you. Because your words are not echoes. They are commands. And when a child of God commands, creation listens. When you declare over your morning, you are not just speaking into air. You are activating spiritual law. Job said, "Have you commanded the morning since your days began?" That means the authority was always yours. The problem is we rarely use it. Most people start their day complaining about what's wrong instead of commanding what must be right. They let circumstances lead instead of leading circumstances. But divine favor doesn't manifest in passivity. It flows through dominion. Dominion begins when you stand before the dawn and say, "This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it." When you command the dawn, you give your day an assignment. You tell the atmosphere how to behave. You instruct opportunities to find you. You speak peace into your path and clarity into your mind. And when you do, heaven honors that order because faith always initiates divine movement. You begin to notice that even the smallest details of your day, the conversations, the meetings, the timing, start working in your favor. Why? Because you didn't just enter the day, you governed it. The dawn is not passive, it's pregnant. It carries divine possibilities, miracles waiting for manifestation. But those miracles respond only to command. So every morning, before the sun fully rises, take a moment to declare who you are, what will happen and what will not happen. Bind fear, release favor. Silence confusion, release clarity. Cancel delay, release acceleration. For the words you speak in the morning determine the kind of harvest you will reap by evening. So don't let your dawn go uncommanded. Don't let your day define you. Define your day. Speak with the authority of one who knows heaven backs their voice. Because when you learn to command the dawn, you invite God's hand to guide your every step. And that's where the next key begins, learning the morning protocols that sustain divine favor and daily dominion. There is a divine order in the kingdom, a pattern for favor, a rhythm for power, a protocol for presence. When you rise each morning, heaven watches to see if you know the code. You see, favor is not random. It's attracted by order. God moves where principles are honored. And if you want to walk in divine favor daily, you must understand the morning protocols for kingdom, favor, and daily dominion. These are not rituals. They are spiritual systems designed to position your heart, your mind, and your words in alignment with heaven's agenda. The first protocol is reverence. Before you ask, before you plan, before you even move, acknowledge the king. Every kingdom has order, and no servant speaks before greeting the sovereign. Reverence is not a formality, it is a declaration of priority. It tells heaven, I know who rules my day. When you start your morning with reverence, you invite divine presence to lead you. You shift from independence to dependence, from control to surrender. And in that moment of humility, favor begins to flow. The second protocol is listening. Too many people talk to God, but never wait for his response. They wake up, unload their worries, and rush away, never realizing that divine instruction follows silence. The Spirit often whispers before the world wakes. And if you learn to quiet your soul long enough, you will begin to hear direction that changes everything. Where to go, what to do, who to trust, what to avoid. Listening is the posture of those who walk in wisdom. Because favor follows those who can hear. The third protocol is obedience. It's one thing to hear God's instruction. It's another to act on it. Favor is not released through knowledge. It's released through obedience. Every morning, the Holy Spirit may nudge you, convict you, or prompt you towards something that doesn't make sense in the natural. But obedience always precedes manifestation. You cannot claim to desire God's favor and ignore his voice. The measure of your obedience determines the measure of your blessing. When you walk in these morning protocols, reverence, listening, obedience, something supernatural happens. You stop chasing favor, and favor begins chasing you. Doors open without explanation. Delays turn into divine redirection. Even what was meant to harm you starts working for your good. Why? Because you've aligned yourself with heaven's rhythm. You're no longer reacting to life. You're reigning through divine order. So every morning, before you step into your responsibilities, remember the kingdom operates by law. And when you honor those laws, you attract the attention of the king. Because favor doesn't visit chaos. It dwells in order. The question now is, how do you protect that divine atmosphere once it arrives? How do you keep heaven's presence flowing throughout your day, even when the world begins to pull you in every direction? That's where the next key unfolds, understanding the secret laws of early encounters with God's presence. There is a secret known only to those who seek God early, a divine law hidden in the quiet moments before the world awakens. It is the law of early encounters. You see, favor is not found in the noise. It is discovered in the stillness. The greatest men and women of purpose understood this truth. Those who meet with God before the world meets them walk in a dimension of grace that cannot be explained. There is something about the morning hour that opens heaven's attention. Something sacred happens when you decide, before I speak to anyone else, I will speak to my King. In the early hours, when everything is silent, your spirit becomes most sensitive. The distractions fade, the thoughts settle, and suddenly you begin to hear that still small voice. It's in those quiet encounters that instructions are given, ideas are born, visions are refined, and direction becomes clear. God often hides his greatest treasures in stillness, and only those who seek him early ever find them. That's why the enemy fights your mornings. He knows that if he can fill your dawn with noise, he can steal your discernment for the day. But when you win the morning, you win the day. The law of early encounters teaches us that divine presence is not stumbled upon, it is pursued. You cannot casually drift into revelation. You must intentionally dwell in it. Every morning, the Spirit waits for your fellowship, not because God needs you, but because you need him. The more you encounter him in the secret place, the more you reflect him in public. And the difference between those who walk in ordinary strength and those who walk in divine favor is their consistency in meeting God before the world does. Early encounters refine your attitude. They purify your motives. They give you heaven's perspective before you face earth's pressure. You begin to operate from peace instead of panic, from clarity instead of confusion. And as you go through your day, people will sense something different about you. They will see calm where others see chaos, confidence where others see fear, and purpose where others see routine. That's the residue of an early encounter. When you've been with God, you carry an aroma that cannot be manufactured. It's called the fragrance of favor. But here's the truth. Divine encounters require discipline. They demand intentionality. You can't expect revelation without consistency. God doesn't reward laziness. He honors pursuit. The more you show up in his presence, the more he reveals. The more you seek him early, the more he trusts you with secrets others will never hear, because revelation is heaven's currency, and only the faithful qualify to receive it. So if you want favor to follow you, learn the secret of meeting him before dawn. Seek him when the air is still, when your heart is clear, when the world is quiet. Because the one who seeks early will never walk empty. And that's where the next key unfolds, understanding what it truly means to activate divine favor before the world awakes. Before the world awakes, before the sound of voices fills the air, there is a sacred moment that belongs only to you and God. It is the space between darkness and light, the silence before the storm of activity, the breath before motion. And it is in that moment that divine favor is activated. You see, favor is not found in your schedule. It's found in your surrender. It's not born in the noise of your day, but in the stillness of your devotion. Those who rise before the world rises are not just early. They are prepared. They are the ones who align heaven's will before earth's demands. When you begin your day before the world does, you're not just getting ahead of time, you're stepping into eternity. That early moment of connection sets the rhythm for everything that follows. Because when you begin in his presence, you continue in his power. Every challenge you face bows to that alignment. Every decision you make flows from that clarity. Every battle you encounter becomes a testimony in waiting. There's a reason the great ones learned to seek the Creator before creation began to speak. Before the phone rings. Before the notifications come, before the deadlines scream, they understood, if I conquer my morning, I conquer my world. The first voice you listen to determines every other voice you'll follow. The first atmosphere you breathe determines the atmosphere that will follow you throughout the day. That's why you can't afford to start your morning empty. You must begin filled with word, filled with purpose, filled with peace. When you activate divine favor early, your environment begins to recognize it. People respond differently. Opportunities locate you. Delays dissolve before they develop. Why? Because favor makes you visible in realms where others are invisible. It's not about striving. It's about standing in the place of divine alignment and letting heaven go to work on your behalf. You become a carrier of presence. You stop chasing blessings because blessings start chasing you. But let me tell you, this favor doesn't just appear, it's cultivated. It's watered by prayer, fed by worship, strengthened by the word, and sealed by faith. Each morning you are building momentum for your destiny. Each declaration, each whisper, each act of surrender adds weight to your authority. And before long you will look back and realize what others call coincidence, you call covenant. Because favor is not luck, it's the evidence of divine partnership. So rise early, speak boldly, listen deeply, move wisely. Let your mornings become your meeting place with destiny. Because the world doesn't determine your favor, heaven does. And heaven responds to the one who shows up before the world awakes. So wake with purpose, command the light, walk in power. Let favor go before you. Let grace surround you. Let victory follow you. And as the sun rises, may heaven rise within you. Every single day,